everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can probably tell by my hat, I want to talk about the new movie, The Batman. Just kidding. Today I want to talk about the movie Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home is the third Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland, directed by Jon Watts, who hasn't done any movies of note besides these three Spider-Man movies, with the aspirations to direct a new Fantastic Four movie sometime in the future. In Spider-Man No Way Home, we return to Peter Parker directly after the events of Spider-Man Far From Home, after Peter Parker's identity is released to the general public, and everyone starts swarming him, MJ, and Ned. The events that follow Spider-Man's identity being revealed as Peter Parker are pretty devastating on a personal level, causing Peter Parker to reach out to Doctor Strange to see if there's anything he can do to change the current reality. A lot of crazy things follow, resulting in Spider-Man No Way Home. I've grown up watching the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and I thought the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies were okay. But given the leaked rumors around this film and it just being a Marvel movie and a Spider-Man movie, I had to go see it in theaters. Keep in mind this is a non-spoiler review, but I will talk about some of the things we saw in the commercials, but I will not go outside of that. At the end of this review, I'll talk about 2 spoilers that I saw, so be on the watch for that. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 things that make a movie great. Number 1, the plot. This movie actually has 2 different plots. One takes up about 1/4 of the film, and then the other covers the rest. The initial plot of this film follows Spider-Man being revealed as Peter Parker, and all of the negative consequences that come with that. Peter, MJ, and Ned are all applying to these colleges and trying to get into the same college together, but because Peter Parker has been revealed as Spider-Man, and Spider-Man supposedly just killed Mysterio, colleges are denying him left and right, but they're also denying MJ and Ned as well because they're best friends with Spider-Man, and they don't want the drama or association that would come to their college because of these friends of Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man. So Peter decides to go to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange, having a soft spot for Peter as they both disappeared together in the snap, decides to try and help him with a spell that goes terribly wrong. As a direct result, the second plot follows Peter Parker as he tries to fix all of the issues in what is now a broken multiverse. The first plot of this film was so simple that it almost seemed too simple to me. It was like, okay, this could have been solved in a much easier way. But then I thought back to when I first applied for colleges and all the stuff I didn't know, and I was like, you know what, this actually makes a lot of sense. It just has really, really bad consequences as a result of it. But the simplicity of the plot and what was thought to be the solution doesn't take away from how incredible the plot actually plays out on screen. So overall, I have to give plot a thumbs up. 2 is family friendliness. As far as the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies go, they're probably the most tame in content out of all of the MCU movies. This one had a few crass jokes, there was moments of darkness, there was moments of violence, but it never stepped outside of the PG-13 rating. This is a fun movie that the family can enjoy, so thumbs up to family friendliness. 3 is acting and script. Holy free holies. All of the actors and actresses in this film, whether they were cameos or returners or not, they all performed at the top of their game. I think that Tom Holland's performance in this film was the best. Being a younger actor, figuring out how to tap into his emotions and just the emotional depth that they go into in this film allowed his acting to shine through above anyone else. Obviously, I love the performance of William Defoe. He was the exact same Green Goblin as he was in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and I love that. The chemistry between everyone in this film is top-notch across the board. There was only one actor in this film who I'm a huge fan of, whose performance was actually kind of underwhelming to me, and that was J.K. Simmons. I love J.K. Simmons in pretty much every role he's ever done, and I guarantee you there's going to be a movie that makes me regret saying that. But in the moment, I love J.K. Simmons in everything he's ever done. But J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson actually breaks the rule of the multiverse. J. Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons, plays himself in 2 different Spider-Man universes, which is kind of crazy. But I got vibes of the inconceivable guy from Princess Bride more than I did semblance of the old J. Jonah Jameson from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. But that's my expectations disappointing me, not J.K. Simmons. He did a good job. So acting gets a thumbs up. The script of this movie is insane. It seemed like every single moment of this movie you were on the edge of your seat, or you were thinking, or you were laughing. Everyone in this movie had a purpose. I thought that everyone who needed to be front and center was, and the characters that we all wanted to see have actual roles in this movie did. So huge props to Jon Watts and the screenwriter for making this happen, because it's super easy to mess up a movie like this, but they did a fantastic job. So overall, acting and script gets 2 huge thumbs up. 4 is character development. Holy crap. I don't know if it's because of my history watching Marvel movies or Spider-Man movies in general or what, but there are so many moments in this movie that add to the character of characters we've seen in movies past. Something in the span of 5 seconds can happen that just made me want to cry. It's so hard to describe how well they handled everything in this movie, but the character development that you get between Ned, between MJ and Peter, between Peter, Doctor Strange, and between all the other characters in this movie, it's just great. This one explores the depth of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in his character arc, and I think Tom Holland is at the apex of who he is as Spider-Man. I'm very excited to see where they go with him. But without going into spoiler territory, all the other characters of this film are really well developed and really well balanced, which is hard to do when you're dealing with so many A-list actors and such an incredibly simple yet complex idea of a multiverse and all that that entails. I was satisfied by the use of all of these characters, and they did a great job. So character development gets a huge thumbs up. 5 is CG. The CG in this movie was great. I don't know what the difference is between what Sony is doing and what Marvel is doing, as far as how Sony owns Spider-Man and Venom and that sort of thing, and Marvel has a partnership with them. It's a whole thing. But the explosions and CG in this film looked great. There was nothing that pulled me out of the film, which I was really happy with because I was engrossed in this film. It was so entertaining to watch. CG gets a thumbs up. And 6 is rewatchability. This movie is absolutely incredible. I was laughing, I was crying, my mind was blown. It just took you through the full emotional spectrum and made everything super identifiable, and it just was a heck of a time. This probably tops the chart for all of the Spider-Man movies because of what it does. So this movie, huge thumbs up for rewatchability. Spider-Man No Way Home was one of the best movies that I've seen in a long time. There wasn't a second where I wasn't on the edge of my seat watching this film. Because of how well they handled this film, I have to give Spider-Man No Way Home a 9.5 out of 10. It was so well balanced and well thought out and well scripted and well directed. This is a huge accomplishment for Sony and Marvel. It's incredible. I love this movie, and I will definitely recommend watching it on a Friday or Saturday night. Go see this movie in theaters. You will not regret it. And if you've grown up watching the Marvel movies and the Spider-Man movies, this movie's going to blow your mind, and you're going to have a great time watching it. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen Spider-Man No Way Home, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. It's Christmas this weekend. I hope all of you guys have a safe and fun and a Merry Christmas. Give your friends and family hugs and let them know that you love them. Thank you so much for the love and support, and I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one. So here's the 2 spoilers that I wanted to talk about briefly. Even though it was only like a 25-second cameo, I legit cried when I saw Charlie Cox come on screen as Daredevil. He delivered a line that was so funny, and just the fact that Charlie Cox is reprising his role as Daredevil when he is just born to play that role. Absolutely chef's kiss. This also, I saw this movie the day after I watched the latest episode of Hawkeye, which is where you see Kingpin reprise his role. Same Kingpin from Daredevil. The other thing is, at the very end of this film, as Peter Parker he's coming towards the screen and it fades to black. First of all, you see that his suit is way lighter, like lighter in color than any of his suits have been in the past. 2 is when he comes through the screen, on the edge of the screen, there's pixels or graphics that look exactly like Spider-Man Into the Multiverse. And no one else in the theater saw this, and I felt insane for even bringing it up. My theory was that the Spider-Man at the end of this movie is not Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I think the Spider-Man at the end of this movie is Miles Morales. It makes sense because his suit is lighter, and the pixels are the exact same. I think that they're going to bring him into live action, and I'm super excited for that. But let me know if you saw that too.